Today I will present you my first SLR camera that I bought when I was a student in the 90s. It's a camera from the mid-80s. It's one of the very first autofocus models. Actually, Minolta released the first autofocus SLR, which was the Minolta 7000. This one is the 5000, a slightly simplified version. It's a pretty automatic and straightforward camera. It's very underrated. Mine has been used quite a bit, and there's a small ding on the LCD, but it's been incredibly reliable and is a real workhorse. I took it out again recently. I wasn't using it anymore. You know, the autofocus part was wearing on me, so I wanted to go back to manual. I went through a phase where I did a lot of digital photography, but then I returned mostly to analog and focused more on manual cameras, and I pulled it out again recently. It has a very 1980s look, very angular, with little buttons like that. There are quite a few dials, well, none really. Uses control buttons like Mode Electronic of that time. Using dials came afterward, but it's easy to use. Not necessarily very typical nowadays. You have to get used to it again. But after some practice, it becomes easy and not that complicated. However, it has big advantages. It uses a range of amazing lenses, and this is key for me in order to make great photos. For example, I have a 50mm fixed lens with an aperture of 1.7, which is quite bright. I have taken some wonderful photos with it, and I will include a few. I have photos that I took when I was a student. I have, for example, some photos from the Lake District in England, a place with magnificent sceneries, made some great shots here. The place is north of England, below Glasgow. I took a little tour there, and I will show some shots from there at the end of the video. I also have some photos in Paris. Since I did my studies in Paris, I took some photos while wandering around Paris, so I have a few of those. As I said, the camera is interesting for its lenses. What's also very interesting is that you can find it really cheap, as it's a completely underrated camera, often looked away. I recently bought 2 or 3 just for fun. I paid 15 to 20 euros for each one, including shipping. So yeah, it's really cheap, and I've used some of them to make gifts. I gave one to a friend's daughter who's interested in film photography. I had lent her some point and shoot cameras to try previously. And then I thought it was time for her to try an SLR. One advantage is that it's an SLR with a fully automatic mode they call program mode. At first you use the program mode, and then on top of the program mode there is a manual mode. That's it. It's simple. Press here to switch to manual mode. Press it again to go back to program mode. It has automatic ISO detection, and you can change the ISO. There's a timer and the on-off switch here. So when I activate it, you'll see it will try to load the film. These are some of the reasons why I bought it back then. Simple to use for a beginner. I was also already a bit of a geek back then, so I remember my girlfriend at the time had picked a manual X300, and I got this one. What I liked about it was that the batteries are standard ones, either AAA or AA, so there are 2 types of charges depending on which battery type. Still is an advantage now. It's easy to change batteries. You just have to take it apart like this. You see, just unscrew here using a coin or nail and put the batteries in. In my case, I've put in rechargeable batteries. So these are the AAA batteries. When I took it out of storage, there was a bit of an issue with the batteries because I left old one and they had been leaking. But, well, that happened when I forgot the batteries inside, bringing up the usual issue. And another flaw, we could say, of this device is that the front plastic part here is often quite brittle, often damaged and faded, even getting white. So sometimes you end up with cameras that aren't in the best shape, especially when the batteries have been left in, giving them a worn out look. I'll show you later on another camera as an example. So what else is interesting about this camera? The autofocus mode can be disengaged, so you can switch to manual, which can be handy. And right here you see these little buttons that are like press buttons. They are used in manual mode. When you are in manual mode, on one side you adjust the aperture, and on the other side you adjust the shutter speed. You see the selected parameters looking in the viewfinder, so while shooting. And in the viewfinders it indicates what the camera would have selected in program mode, so you get an indication whether if it is overexposed or underexposed. So again, very easy to use and good for learning for beginners. And there's add a tonal little mode here called backlight control. When you have backlight, you're in program mode, you press on it, take the shot, and it makes a simple exposure correction for that situation. So again, I think it's a great camera with great lenses for its price. You paid 15 to 20 euros and you have a full motorized camera. Also very easy to load. So you load your film, you open here, insert your film there, you close it, turn it on, and there you go, ready to shoot. So if there's a 0, it means it hasn't detected the film and didn't load it properly. If there's a 1, the film is loaded and ready to shoot. Again, very convenient, like a point and shoot. And then, well, it's a historical autofocus, so it's quite slow. Yeah, it's not a fast autofocus. This was one of the first, so not up to what we have now. Not quite fast enough in a lot of situations, but yeah, okay. It has let me down a few times. Not a good choice for doing sports photography, for example. Sometimes it struggles to focus, you know. Patience is key. But overall, it works well. The autofocus, even if slow, is effective, precise, and it takes great photos. Well, early autofocus, it's a question of patience. You have to take your time. So yeah, it's a camera I recommend, but not for all situations. Again, I gifted one, bought a few to give as presents, and I'll show you some photos in a moment. So this is the Minolta 5000 model. The original is the Minolta 7000 model. It was the first autofocus. I just bought one, or maybe two, let's say, from a collector's perspective. And as I was saying, you can see it, that example, the condition of the front part of the camera. Typical conditions, you can find them. I'll make another video about the Minolta 7000, which is a bit more advanced than the 5000. It's also an awesome camera, really good, with the same lenses, same battery system here, so you can switch them between cameras, no problem. But yeah, if I have time, I'll add them too. Or if not, I think I'll make other videos about this device, a bit more in-depth on how it operates with other photos. But there you have it, just a little introduction to nice range of Minolta, early SLR, the very first autofocus that I'll likely come back to. Alright, thanks, bye bye.